Evening Boudica. Right, this is mine and Claire's top 10 video. We're doing our own top 10s, but obviously filming it together. It should be interesting. I think we've got a lot of the same, but there's a few differences as well. I think what's probably important from our point of view is we're quite new to this, really. Only a couple of years, really, in terms of modern gaming.
Modern gaming.
Yeah. So actually, a lot of these games that we love, we've only played a couple of times. So we're sort of, there's very few games that we played lots and lots of times. So, we're basing it on how we currently feel. I think we probably both expect this will change in time. I certainly expect the Vitel Lacerda games to get into my top 10 once I've played them, because they're my type of game, but I haven't played them yet. So I think this is where we are currently at, and I certainly think, I don't know about you, but for me, my top 3 were relatively clear cut, and probably my sort of 10, but 4 to 9 are fairly interchangeable. There's not much in it for them with me.
My top 10 is completely based on thinking about the game when I'm not actually due to play a game, and the ease of agreeing to play the game when it's suggested. So that it probably changes on a regular basis, but at the moment these are my top 10-ish.
Yeah. Ish.
That's for Claire.
Okay, right. Well, I think we'll start off with number 10. I'll start because I've kind of cheated a little bit on this one. I really struggled when I got to number 10, and I couldn't decide between 2. So I got 2 joint 10th place ones for me. Firstly is Tiny Epic Westerns. Fairly controversial, I know, in terms of the Tiny Epic series. It's not generally seen as one of the most popular of them.
Not controversial in this house.
No. But outside, because the one we've liked the least is Galaxies, which is probably the most popular generally. But we really enjoyed this one. It's a great game. I love the poker type nature to it, and that combination between the poker and the board game. In fairness, I like all the Tiny Epics to a certain extent, because I think they're incredibly well done. Components are lovely. They play well. They do feel like a big game, even though they come in a tiny box. So, yeah. So I think they're really good. So that's one of my number 10s.
Cheat.
And then the other one that I think is equal with it is London by Martin Wallace. It's the second edition. Picked this one up at some ridiculous price on Amazon last year. It was about 11, 12 quid. It's a fantastic game. Martin Wallace is not someone who we've played a lot of, but obviously he's a well-known publisher or designer, and you can tell in this game it's beautifully illustrated. The cards, everything in it's lovely quality. Even the box style, the sort of open book type rather than lid off. Just a really good game. So I think, and it played really nicely at 2. And I think that's another thing I think is important for us. The majority of our gaming, even before lockdown, the majority of our gaming is always going to be 2 players. So they have to be games that I think play well at 2.
Yeah, mine are different actually. Some of mine are not because they're 2 player.
No, that's not.
But I was surprised that you put that in your top 10 because it was good. But I think I didn't feel as strongly about it as you because we played a lot of games in that week.
We did, yeah. It was when we went on holiday and we were playing a couple of games a day. But it stood out to me, and it was nice. Also, I think. One of the things that stands out for me is the value for money, because I think even now you can still get this for 15, 16 quid, and it's a really nice game for that money. So that one is one of my 2 number 10s.
Cheat. Right. Okay, my number 10 is Sherlock Holmes, which has only come into my top 10 as of this morning, because we played it last night. It's quite a heavy game in the sense that there's a lot to read. A lot to read, which actually would work quite well as a one person, we were saying.
Yeah. It's also physically very heavy.
Well, yes.
Packed full.
But that's because it's for all 10 cases.
It's a packed full box.
But for the actual individual case, we were saying it's actually quite a good thing to take on holiday, because you probably stick everything in a folder.
Yeah.
Quite a flattish folder and take it with you. But it was good. It felt sort of quite loyal to Sherlock Holmes. Yeah. And we really enjoyed it. So yeah, that's my number 10.
Okay. So moving on to number 9 then. My number 9 is a game that I suspect a lot of you haven't heard of. It's from Vesuvius Media. We got this one from Kickstarter last year, or year before last, and it's called Nocturian. And say it doesn't seem to have. It doesn't seem to have sort of had any massive success retail wise, but we think it's a great game. We've really enjoyed this one. It's a bit of a kind of, area control, worker placement, engine building type game. Really nicely done, really nice artwork, and we've actually just ordered all the upgraded components for it that Vesuvius Media have had on Kickstarter recently. So that's really nice.
Forgot about that.
So yeah, a game that not many of you will have probably come across, but really worth a try. If you like that kind of game, it's worth it.
This was kicked off my top 10 by Sherlock.
Yeah,
it would have been top 10 because it's not just worker placement; it's something more to it than that.
Yeah,
isn't it?
It's a bit different. It felt different to other ones. Yeah,
you could only place your workers where you wanted to based on what dice roll you had.
Yeah,
so that was the interesting bit.
Yeah, no, really nice game, that one.
So my next one is not a 2-player one, really. Although we probably could do it as a 2-player, but we never have. It's always been a bigger one with family, and that's that. Flick 'em Up, Dead of Winter. It's just silly.
Yeah.
Silly, fun. Everybody stood up for a start, so it's healthy.
Different, yeah.
And everybody moving around the table and flicking and trying to get the zombies. So it's a bit silly, but it's good fun.
Yeah. Bought a bit by fluke, really, because I quite fancied a Flick 'em Up when I saw them. I'm the one of the two of us that tends to go all crazy buying games all the time. And it was actually the original Flick 'em Up that appealed to me first of all, the Western one. But this one just happened to, come up at a good price, and it's great. I don't think it matters the theme really, because the game is good fun.
But who doesn't enjoy killing zombies? Everybody likes killing zombies.
Maybe, yeah. So it's a good game. Yeah, it's good one, that one. Okay, so we are on to number 8. So my number 8 is Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective. I think, Claire's already kind of sort of said, but it was.
I don't need to go through.
It was really good, and it was. What surprised me was I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did. I was looking forward to it, but I did not expect this one to be something that would be creeping into my top 10. Whereas already I'm thinking we need to play all 4 of these boxes over a course of time because they're really good.
As technically that's my game.
Yeah.
I had that for Christmas, which most of these games. We've got some nice honourable mentions here, by the way, as well. Most of them have been bought by you. Yeah. You decided to buy them or you asked for them.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But yeah, no, really, it is. If you like Sherlock Holmes, you like that kind of thing, it's
like
really
a murder
good.
Mystery.
And I think Claire alluded to sort of being able to take it on a holiday in like a folder. I think the other good thing that we highlighted about it is you don't actually need to have a table to play it. It's useful to be able to lay the map out on things. But equally, if you were in a hotel on holiday, you could play it on a hotel bed. You could spread the map out on there. So really, really. So
good. We've gone from a little bit of health with Flick 'em Up, standing on the table, moving around, to sitting on a bed. Yeah, play this instead.
But yeah, really good, and the quality of the production of it and the standard of the books, outstanding. It really is high quality.
Okay, my number 8.
Yep,
8.
Number 8.
Which was your game, which you wanted all the bits
for. It was.
But again, not for 2-player. I don't think we've ever tried it as a 2-player, and I don't think it would work as a 2-player. But when there were 6 of us playing it, it was, again, bonkers and crazy and good fun. Cult Express.
Yeah, I'm less keen.
More about it than I do.
Yeah, I love the idea of it and the components and the physical trains.
Oh, yeah, the fact you've got a train through the middle and you are telling your character where to go. By putting your card down in an order, but everybody's doing the same thing at the same time. So what could happen to you is that you've said to go up to the roof of the train, but something else has happened, and you can no longer do that.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you're making a mini film.
Yeah.
In a way,
it's a really clever design, and it looks fantastic on the table. I love the fact that the things go back into the box made, so you haven't got to keep making them. And we've got all the expansions to this one. But there's I don't know what it is for me. I like it, but there's something.
We need to try it with the other
something
expansions.
missing a bit.
Oh, look, there's a picture of the
I think one
train.
of the things missing about it is the fact that I'm rubbish at it.
There's a train made up there.
Yeah.
There.
I mean, a lot of you will have seen this. It's an incredibly popular game, and yeah, it is. It is really different, so it's worthy in that sense. Okay, number 7. My number 7. Love this game, Sagrada. Again, not the sort of game I necessarily would have thought would be high up on my list, but I love the simplicity of it, really. It just does what it's meant to do really well. I love dice. I love playing with the dice, and we've played this with lots of different groups of people, including my parents who are not gamers, and they enjoyed it. I like the whole sort of planning and thinking and the patterns and stuff. And so it has that kind of feeling of being quite thinky, but at the same time, it's not really heavy, and the game length is nice as well. So yeah, I love Cigarda, and I look forward to playing. We've got one of the expansions, and I look forward to playing with more of those. Really,
don't put it too far away. It'll appear later.
It will. Yeah, lovely game. And I say again, I'm sure lots of you have played that one, but yeah, I must try Azul at some point. Although I still expect to prefer Cigarda.
Have we got Azul?
We haven't. No.
Okay, number 7. Patchwork. And this is the Christmas edition, which just happened to be the one that we got.
Yeah.
But it's just great. And again, you all probably know it. But I really love Cats as well. And it's quite similar in the fact that you're placing different shaped tiles together. But the fact that this one, I can literally say to our daughter, who's 11, do you want to play Patchwork? And we can have it up and running in 2-3 minutes with a slight reminder of the rules if necessary. Yeah. And the game's finished in 20 minutes. Yeah. Whereas a lot of the other games, as much as I love them, it's very much a case of, are we playing a game? Right, when are we playing a game? How much time have we got to play a game? So I noticed there's a lot of people on the group today been mentioning about trying to get games in when their babies are having naps.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, perfect sort of length. Yeah, really good.
And it's nice. It is,
really good.
It's really good fun.
Yeah.
Okay, next.
Okay, number 6. So number 6 for me, new one to us. We got it a couple of weeks ago. I know it's a massive favourite of Claire and Brad, Dice Hospital. I won this one on the Board Game Raffle Group a few weeks ago, and loved it straight away. As soon as we played it, we really enjoyed it. Again, love the whole sort of dice and numbers and working things out. It was really nice. What I liked about it was it had a light game feeling to it, and it was quite a light theme. It was a bit of fun, all dice and things. But it was quite thinky as well.
Yeah.
It's so really, and I've gone on. I've already managed to track down the community care expansion and the upgraded parts from other parts of Europe and had them shipped here because I just loved it so much. And I'm really looking forward to painting the ambulances and the helicopter and all.
At least you bought the expansions after playing it.
Yeah, it makes a change for me. But yeah, absolutely brilliant. So if you love dice, great game. But we're both really excited about Dice Theme Park coming to Kickstarter later on in the year. But that'll be an automatic back for us. I think probably an all-in with everything they've got coming with it. We'll get it.
Yeah, I'll mention a bit more about that when I come back to it. Because again, don't put that too far away. So my number 6.
Yeah.
Tiny Epic Westerns, which is weird because originally you liked this more than I did. But mine's higher up on this list.
Yeah, I think it's only because I think I have what I think we'll all see as we come further down the list is I think I tend to prefer the heavier games. So bigger games are filling my top 10 more. But it is great.
That's quite heavy. Really, when you're in it, it's a lot of game in a little box. Little box, because that looks big when it's over there. It's little box. But it's a big game.
The same size as Pimlico Field just behind us.
Look at that. That's not made the top 10 because we played it too much and we're sick of it.
Yeah.
But it's very good.
And actually, that's one of the things that I think is a bit of a shame. Obviously, the majority of 2020 for us was spent designing and doing everything we needed to do with that. So we actually didn't get a lot of gameplay in last year.
Not the first
but
half.
We played quite a lot. Since about mid-December, we've been quite good. And I think our number of games played is increasing rapidly.
Yeah. Number 5.
So yes, number 5.
How long this is getting?
Number 5 for me. Again, only played it once. Newish game. Crystal Palace. Brilliant. I never know what to describe these as. Worker placement, engine building. Big table filler. Real table hog. Lots to think about. Yeah, I mean it's described as is a really high complexity rating on BGG, which I think was a bit unfair. I think it maybe seemed it at first reading the rule book. The rule book could have been slightly better. But actually, once we got into the game, it was quite intuitive, I thought. Having played a lot of that sim type of game.
I think it was because there were lots of different elements to think of at the same time. It wasn't just thinking about that to do that, to do that, to do that. You also had to think about all that and all that.
Yeah.
And all that as well. So it was lots of different elements.
Yeah, and there's lots of different tactics. I mean, we actually took completely different tactics on this game in terms of, by pure fluke, we went down completely different routes. But it was really good. I mean, I love worker placement. I think it's probably my favourite genre of game overall. And this was a lovely one. Yeah, the artwork was great. And it's normally about 50-60 quid, and I picked this one up for 30 quid on Chaos Cards. It's still there, I think. It's an absolute bargain.
The length of time for the game is hysterical.
60 to 150 minutes.
That's a big difference.
It's a big, wide difference. I mean, I think as a 2-player, I think we could easily play it in an hour and a half. Now we know it.
Yes.
But it's, I think, an hour.
Well, if we leave it too long, we probably won't. We'll have to start from scratch again.
It's a really good game by Carsten Lauber. Not come across him before.
Okay, my number 5 isn't here.
Yes.
Because we've lent it to other people to play a couple of months ago now.
Yeah.
And that's Jaws. Now, I know some people really don't like Jaws. Yeah, Claire doesn't. But I loved being the shark and doing secret things and the other players, because it was Steve playing 3 characters, not knowing where I was and trying to find me. So that was great fun. It was just, I didn't expect to enjoy it because I don't like the films at all. Not interested in the slightest to ever watch them. I probably watched bits of all of them at some point. But it was just, it just worked really well as a game.
And actually, ironically, Sydney, you don't like the films, it was very true to the film. It felt like a really good reenactment of the film in that sense.
I don't know how it could work for other stories or other films, but it felt like a system, especially with the flip over the board and the hidden elements that could work for other themes. I don't know what.
Particularly for other films, because it was like 2 scenes of a film. I really enjoyed it. It wasn't far away from my top 10, that one, because I quite enjoyed. I don't think I'd have enjoyed particularly playing the shark, but I was quite happy playing 3 characters.
Perfect.
So it worked quite well, that one. Yeah. So that was a good one. Okay, right, number 4 for me. Absolutely love this game. Everdell, absolutely beautiful. Love that. I mean, I am a sucker for games that look nice. I love good artwork and nice components, and this one absolutely smashes it out of the park. I think as soon as we played it, we were like, oh yeah, we like this. And we played the second game straight away.
Which is unheard of, because normally I'm so exhausted by the time I've read through the rule book and tried to explain it all to you.
Yeah. Claire does all the rules reading in this house. I'm not a teacher. But it's absolutely brilliant. We love it. Again, it's a style of game we like anyway, but the artwork in this particular game is stunning. All the components, the squishy berries, absolutely beautiful. And although we haven't tried them yet, we have now got all of the expansions for this one, and I can't wait to try them all out. And absolutely superb game. Wouldn't be going far away.
No, not going far away. So my number 4, I was going to be repetitive now. Dice Hospital. But what I wanted to mention about it, and this is why I'm also looking forward to Dice Theme Park. Yeah, is the fact that it reminded me a lot of Theme Hospital and hopefully Theme Park from the PC games many years ago. And although it's not the same at all, it's not got any of the same sort of weird illnesses that the PC game had or anything like that. It just felt...
You're deliberately pushing that further in front of me.
Yes, I am. There you go. But it feels fun, like that fun element that you have with the computer game as well. So I'm hoping the theme park one will be fun as well.
Yeah.
So that's all. I'm going to keep it short. There you go.
Yeah. Okay, into the top 3 now. Now, I know 2 of my top 3 are completely different to Claire's.
Yeah.
Number 3 for me is this absolute monster.
A move. There you go.
Heroes of Land, Air and Sea.
Now,
this is designed by Scott Almes, who is the designer of all the tiny epics. And this is basically a not so tiny epic, but it's certainly epic. It is an absolute table hog. Huge board.
Huge box.
Huge box. It's a 4x game, 4 times game. The explore, expand, exploit, and something else.
Exterminate.
Yeah. Lots of models in it. It's very, very model heavy, and I love models, although I don't actually particularly enjoy painting, but I do love models. And yeah, we played this, and it's like all of the tiny epics. It's a thing of beauty. The components, the style of it, the iconography. It's just really well done. And actually, we've got all the other expansions that come with this.
Surprise.
Ironically, each one is the same size box as that. In fact, one of them is slightly bigger. They are massive. So I intend to make some kind of custom insert for a Kallax cube to try and hold all of this for all the different factions. But if you like a big, sprawling game of that nature, it's really good. We picked it up fairly quickly. It was easier to learn than I expected to, really, once we got into it.
Not on my top 10, though.
No, but you did enjoy it.
I did. I was just worried. I think we just need to get into it a bit more.
Yeah.
And it was only one play.
Yeah.
But I was worried that I'd use the same tactics, because the tactics I used worked, and I won.
Yeah,
didn't I?
I think so.
I normally do in the first play, because I'm reading the rules. So, But yeah, not sure yet. So we'll see. Otherwise, you'll be doing a big bulk sell at some point, maybe.
Would you agree about how nicely it was made? And
yes, really but we've got other games that are nicely made really as well, so it's not,
game. And it was kind of nice to have that tiny epic feeling in something that wasn't tiny. Because my 43-year-old eyes struggle with the cards sometimes in the small games.
It's nothing to do with your age, just got bad eyes.
They struggle with Everdell as well.
Right, my top three. My top three are not necessarily a top three that'll stay top three, because I think all the other games I've mentioned already could all swap. It's, this time next year will be different, I'm sure. But number 3 for me, Sagrada. Again, because it's one of those games you can just pick up and go with.
Yeah.
Even teaching, it wasn't that hard to teach other people.
No, I mean, to be fair, if you can teach my parents it's well designed, because they enjoy a game, but they don't like learning a game.
It's a good job they're not in this group.
Yeah.
But no, it's good. And also, we were looking back over the app that you've got to show who's won what games. And when we played it with my parents, who are gamers, and they love a bit of Carcassonne, and our daughter was playing, she won. She won that game out of all of us, didn't she? So, so it's good. All ages.
Yeah. Our daughter's getting more and more into games. I mean, we played Everdell with her on Friday and she loved it. She won that as well, didn't she?
She won. Smashed us.
Okay. Top 2. Right. My number 2. Talking of monster games. I've got a bad back at the moment as well, so this is hard. And this is only a small part of the game. Too Many Bones. This game is a sort of dice Dungeons and Dragons type RPG. In terms of component quality, nothing beats this. They are absolutely incredible. All of the player mats and neoprene mats and the heavyweight poker chips. It's absolutely stunning, which unfortunately does reflect in the price of the game. But it does seem to be a common thing with Chip Theory games that they make beautiful games. Now, we've only played this a couple of times, and I feel it has to be this high up my list, but I still feel
because you bought everything for it, and it's cost you a fortune, so it has to be high up the list.
And I think it is going to be high up the list. I think we just need to play it more. So we've only had the chance to play it twice. So we only played with a couple of characters.
See, now this is why it's not on my top 10, because I enjoyed it. But the 2 times we played it, we battled the same main big baddie, because we were still getting to grips with it, and we don't think we had it right the first time round. And I played the same character, and it just felt a little bit samey. Now, I know from the community of people who play this that that's not what this is known for. No. So it's probably just us. And we got all these other expansions. But the thing I enjoyed most so far was the secret.
We can't talk about the secret.
The riddle.
No, there is no riddle.
No riddle?
No, there's no riddle. There's no riddle. You are imagining that. Lots of people seem to imagine it. But yeah, there is no riddle.
Oh, me. So my next one is probably your top one, I think. So it's a bit of a spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Scythe, which I did not expect to enjoy at all. I didn't. When I looked at the box originally, I thought, it
doesn't look exciting. It does. Yeah. I mean, it does look a bit like an old Constable painting, doesn't it? Until you look closely and see the robots.
Yeah, the weird robots in the background. But no, I didn't expect anything from it, and it pleasantly surprised me.
Yeah.
Because it was quite in depth with all the mechanisms, with the worker placement, but also the actions. I can't explain it, but it was much more to it than I thought, and it wasn't as hard as I thought. And I think that was also indicated by my family when we introduced them to it. We started off and they were sat there looking like rabbits in headlights, and these are gamers. Going, well, what is this thing? And within about half an hour of actually playing it, they were like, oh yeah, okay. All right, it's not too bad. Yeah, get it.
For me, that's quite typical of the Stonemaier games. I think everything that comes from them tends to be very slick in terms of how it's been designed. And although it looks quite intimidating at first, once you get into it, they are smooth. Their iconography's clear.
Do you want to go into your number 1?
Yeah, I'll sort of carry on with it really. It's my number 1. It's the one we played the most probably. We played it a few times at 2 players, just the 2 of us, and we played it with Claire's parents with the 5. We've got the expansion to play it up to the 7. We got all the expansions for it, and we've got the legendary box, which we haven't.
And you painted the figures.
I've even painted the figures for this one
very nicely.
And we've got all the sort of extra stuff that thousands of people make and sell on Etsy for this one. With Meeple Forge do some amazing stuff for this, so we've got a lot of that. But I just think it's kind of a near perfect game for me. It's in that everything in it works. The components are good. The story is good.
If you're learning it for the first time, stick with it. Go with it, because it is worth it. It really is. And
I think it also had a very different. It has a very different feel depending on the player count as well. I mean, when we played with 5, you were getting into combat and stuff like that, which you're probably less. You're less keen.
I was going to mention that.
As a 2-player game, combat's kind of irrelevant because you're not really. I think we did have combat just for the hell of it, really, once, but it wasn't necessary. You didn't need to go into combat with other people. But it is an absolutely stunning game. So for me, it's pretty much the perfect game.
My top one?
Yeah.
My top one, which you've seen already, is Everdell. And I'm going to go back to what you were saying about the combat thing, because I like cooperative games, and I'm happy to play competitive games where you're not sort of stopping the other person doing what they're doing, not obviously or meanly. Occasionally, like with this one, I might put a critter in your village that causes some negative points. But other than that, it's not really vicious. So you can have your plan and your tactics to fill up your village of all your critters and your critter houses in your own way. And most other people are not going to do anything really damaging to your mindset. Because that's really irritating when you've got a plan and then something goes completely wrong and the whole thing has to be rethought, like when Steve got rid of card he didn't mean to the other night.
Oh, it's so frustrating. That's just my bad plan. That's one of my bad habits with games, is with these kind of games where you might plan ahead and think about how you're gonna sort of achieve what you want to achieve. I had this completely brilliant plan in mind that would have meant on my last placement I'd have ended up with an absolute shed load of resources. So after my last worker was placed, I'd have been able to buy up loads of cards. But then I realised I'd actually put the king in my village rather than the judge, and it was the judge that I needed alongside the queen to be able to do something. So it completely, literally threw me. And that's why my 11-year-old daughter ended up beating me.
Yeah, but also she was good at it.
Yeah.
It wasn't just that. And that's the other nice thing. Like we said, it's the fact that, she's 11. She is playing games. This says ages 10 plus. I think that's quite accurate.
Yeah.
There's nothing in it that couldn't be for younger children. It depends on how much gaming they've done. Yeah. But it's great.
It is, yeah. It is. It's a lovely game. Really nice. I look forward to any future expansions with that one, I think. And then I think on top of that's our top 10s.
Yeah, which is difficult, and that's why we put these here.
Yeah, I think a few of these things up here are kind of honourable mentions. And another one that I wanted to sort of add in for us is Dungeons and Dragons. We'd never played this or really knew much about it prior to last year, but as a consequence of lockdown, we found it as a way to engage in some kind of gaming with Claire's family.
Every
brother
Friday.
sort of took on a dungeon master role, and we played it throughout the whole year, and it's great. It's not in my top 10 things to play, but it is a great system.
It's been really so we played hours and hours, because
ridiculous numbers.
I mean, God bless my brother for doing all the work as the dungeon master, sort of prepping the story, which has been brilliant and hysterical. But most Fridays we've gone online with my family, and so it's 6 of us again online, and we have gone through adventures that we wouldn't have done even if we were out of lockdown. And we probably wouldn't have touched Dungeons and Dragons if it wasn't for lockdown either. So that's really nice.
And actually, I mean, one of the things I enjoyed most about it was I actually said goodbye to one of my first character in Dungeons & Dragons because it felt right for the story, and I then designed a new character from scratch. And I really enjoyed the process of designing a character and coming up with a backstory.
So because we had characters kind of half given to us at the beginning, because we didn't know what we were doing. Literally had no clue. Didn't even know what a D20 was properly. Now I'm wearing them.
So I think, in terms of these honourable mentions, we've got Quacks out there, which is a great game. Eldritch Horror, we played once at Halloween, loved it. Camel Up or Camel Cup, depending on what you want to say. Great one with the family. Ticket to Ride, brilliant, classic game. Wingspan, that one got close to my top 10. Another Stone Eye games. But that was another one we introduced my parents to, and I was a bit weary about introducing them to it. Wasn't sure how they were going to take it. It's probably their favourite game we played with them, wasn't it?
I was really surprised, actually.
Yeah, they really took to it well. Isle of Cats, great game. No, it's very popular at the moment. Christmas Tree, another
really good.
quite an unusual game. I sort of was desperately trying to find a good Christmas game, and I had to buy this one from abroad somewhere, I think, or restock, pre-order or something. It was very hard to find. It's a kind of tile placement-y type.
You're building a Christmas tree basically and decorating it.
But it was lovely, and we played it on Christmas Eve with our daughter. Great fun. The last one I wanted to give an honourable mention to is another game that probably most of you haven't heard of. We got it on Kickstarter, one of our first Kickstarters.
Was it?
Yeah, one of our earliest games, yeah. Era of Kingdoms. A strategy game of kingdom building in the medieval world. And it wouldn't reach my top 10 now, because in terms of the level of weight in the game, it's not up there with the games that I enjoy. And when we were selling games recently, we were kind of looking through it saying, is this one kind of sort of reached the end of its life in that sense? But then no, for sentimental reasons, this was one of the games that started us on this path. And it's really good. It's a really, if you're fairly new to gaming and you like lighter games, this is a really good one to get, although it's not easy to find, I don't think, anywhere. But it's a really good sort of building a city with cards and building up your village.
And you've only got a certain number of spaces in your village to be able to build buildings. Yeah. But you can't build certain level buildings without building the lower level buildings. So you're building them up on top of each other depending on what you get.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good.
It's really good.
It is quite good.
Really nice game. Not a particularly big box, which is also quite nice.
Slim.
Because space is becoming a major issue for us.
So if you have a nice slim space to fill, get this.
If you can find it, which say could be difficult. Yeah. So yes, we our Shelf of Shame is huge. There's loads to go. Most of the ones up above us here are unplayed, and there's another level you can't see there. But one I'm most excited about is Lisboa, which is the first of the Vital Lacerda games that we've got. So I'm looking forward to playing that one next weekend.
And Castles Mad King Ludwig, I would like to try it soon.
And Holy, looking forward to having a go at Holy. That was a recent Kickstarter that looks stunning. We've got Paladins there. We've got Raiders of the North Sea. Back to the Future, the new one, the Back in Time one. Splendor, Marvel, there's loads there we can't wait to play. We've got loads of tiny epics over there we haven't played. More exits. Now. It is time, but we'll get there. We'll get through them all in the end.
Stop working.
That'd be lovely, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So that's our top 10. Hopefully there's been a few interesting ones in there. Hopefully there's been a few that you haven't heard of. I'm not sure who's planning to go next. If anyone wants to sort of add underneath this video, they want to do one. First person, you can do next week's one. In whatever format you like, whether it's sort of facing the camera, facing away, however you like.
Get children to do it.
Yeah, Jay did that. Worked brilliantly. So, So whoever sort of wants to comment first, you can do the next one. So we'll log off now, because I think Claire is probably doing the draw for Isle of Cats at the moment that we really want to win, so that we can send it to Claire's mum, because we think she'd really enjoy it for her birthday. So we'll log off now. We'll get this on. This will probably be going online after the draw.
Fingers crossed,
which we probably won't be winning.
Because I'm sure they haven't noticed, but earlier on there was an interruption slightly when our son came down demanding a hot water bottle.
Yeah.
So there's a slight editing issue. So it depends how long it takes me to do that bit and this software to actually work.
But I'm sure it won't be long. So thank you for watching, all of you.
Okay then. Bye.
Bye.